Well, hello there. This is a weird intro. I'm the
He's
one that's
starting.
usually not talking.
He's starting the episode. It already feels wrong.
This is Obteen. That is John. This is Objectively Wrong, presented by the Next Man Up. And this is the O-Line episode.
I'm retiring his ability to intro the show.
John will be talking through 90% of this episode.
Yeah, I will. only up from the 87% I usually do.
So let's get started because it's offensive lineman. It's the last offensive position for us besides quarterback. Yeah.
Till we circle back to the much less exciting and far less important quarterback position.
Oh yeah. Any news that came up this week before we start? I think there was a couple.
The Falcons traded for Jeff Okudah this morning.
Oh yeah,
for a fifth-round pick.
Honestly, I think it's a good trade.
I think it's a great trade.
Yeah.
I don't know why the Lions couldn't get a 4.
Devin White is apparently requesting a trade but won't get it.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are like, no.
By the way, Devin White is such fool's gold.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he's just a name.
He's pretty good, but that's like he's not. You know what he is? You know what he is? He's like just a little bit better than Jadeveon Clowney compared to his name.
That's true.
Right? Like he's a little bit better than that. Jadeveon Clowney, it's amazing he's still in football. Like he barely is.
Who did he sign with?
I don't know. I don't know if he did. But isn't it fun? Like nobody has mentioned Clowney as a bust yet. Like, it's not too early or late to do that, right?
Yeah, he's still a free agent.
He's a bust.
Oh yeah, he's been a bust for a while.
Clowney was a bust, and nobody said it.
You know what's funny? I wrote my college entrance essay on why you should draft Khalil Mack over Jadeveon Clowney.
Turned out you were right.
Yeah.
We went to the same college, by the way.
Yeah.
What the fuck essay were you writing? I wish I could do that.
English, like to give you credit for English, like 1A, if you remember.
Oh, you did that shit?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do that. Yeah, I just took the damn class. Yeah, I came in because they had like a limit to how many units you could come in with. I came in with the limit.
Okay.
So there was no reason for me to. I came in with an AP stats limit, which was kind of cool. Yes, I was in AP stats in high school and did very well.
I was AP history.
Yeah, we had AP US history. I didn't take it. I took AP English and I took AP stats.
Okay.
And that was
Why
when
would you take AP stats.
Because I could.
Okay.
And
I also took AP.
Yeah. I understood it well enough. I went to extra office hours every single day in high school for that class. I had a free period that happened to coincide with the free period of that teacher. And he and I met every single day except for one from October to the end of the year. And my high school had an effort grade along with the letter grade.
Okay, that's weird.
It is, but it didn't count towards your GPA. Like you could get an A. It was like a 1 to 5 for the effort grade. You can get an A1 or like a C5, but like it was still a 2.0 or a 4.0. It didn't matter. It was just like some shit that they lorded over you to make you feel bad or good about yourself. I don't know.
Okay.
But I got a 5 for effort for that class. And like a B, I got like a B5, I think, or B or a B plus 5. And then I got like a 4 on the AP exam. So, yeah.
Anyways, Odell Beckham's also a Raven.
Yeah, it's a big one. And it's a weird little contract. 1 year for 15, maxing out at 18.
It's a little ridiculous. It honestly screams, Lamar, please love us again.
It does. Yeah. It screams, Lamar, get over it. Like, it really does. And honestly, at this point, again, advantage Baltimore.
I don't know about that anymore.
Here's my reasoning. It tells me that Lamar is going to stay there because Odell Beckham doesn't sign that
Oh
contract
yeah, yeah,
if he's not sure Lamar's coming.
yeah.
So there have been discussions. The Ravens are figuring it all out,
Mhm.
but that was part of the deal. What I find fascinating though is that the Jets front has been really quiet the past few weeks.
I mean, it's happening at the draft, in my opinion.
It's going to happen at some point, and both sides are still like, yeah, we're going to do it. We just don't know when. Like Joe Douglas is so unapologetically like, if it weren't tampering, it should be. He's
Mhm.
just like, we're getting him. We just don't know when. Like, oh, okay. Did you also spend 5 days in the dark? Like, I don't. What do you know, Joe Douglas?
He was the guy that was feeding Aaron Rodgers in the dark.
Does somebody? How do you? Yeah, that's a good question. Who? How do you eat?
Oh, so I've actually watched a video on this. It wasn't.
Okay.
It was like 2 years ago, before
Do
the
you
whole
shower? Like, what do you do?
before the whole Aaron Rodgers goes, takes ayahuasca, and never comes back the same.
Ayahuasca,
But whatever.
ayahuasca. Jesus. Yeah, the ayahuasca drug.
Anyways, uh, literally, there's a bed, there's a table for some reason, a chair, and it's just pitch black. That's it. That's the entire room.
What if you lose? How big's the room?
Maybe the size of a bedroom.
We need a chair for.
I just sit on. I don't know. Because you know why you need a chair? Because they felt like if you were in a room with just a bed and a toilet, they'd be like, oh, it's actually prison.
Does the toilet have plumbing?
Yeah.
So it flushes.
Yeah.
So you're not even alone with your own thoughts. You can flush, and then that can be something you talk to. If you go that crazy in 5 days.
So what you're saying is Aaron Rodgers smoked, and
What I'm saying is that Aaron. What I'm saying is that
one flush for the Raiders, two flush for the Jets.
What I'm saying is that I think TMZ snapped some shots at him buying crystals the other day. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. What I'm saying is the difference between this guy and Joe Rogan is that Aaron somehow has more money. And that's the only difference. They're both dicks and they both need to stop.
Anyways, Odell Beckham, $18 million. Congratulations.
They're both a danger to themselves and society.
Let's start with some prospects, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk about the fat guys. That honestly, I wish would just let guys hit Aaron Rodgers.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to go bottom up, or do you want to start from the top?
Here's the weird thing. I'm going to start with a little bit of a soliloquy. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we made no secret on this show that Ebteen is not the most versed on the O-line.
Oh,
which is fine. O-line. It's fine. And I understand
so much.
People don't. Yeah, they hurt the Raiders a ton.
Alex Leatherwood.
People. I told you, motherfucker. I warned you, Ebteen. I warned you. The Ebteen knows my affinity for this position. He also knows that I tend to hit on this position. So I generally lead this position. This year, I effectively soloed this position. I went Elden Ring, let me solo her on this position.
Have you even played Elden Ring?
I've played it before.
Okay.
I didn't finish it. You out of your mind? I don't have that kind of time. I don't have 2 hours to fight the first 2 enemies. I think at one point I stumbled into like the swamp and there was a big fucking crab. And I found out later that like you're not supposed to be there. I was like, all right, where do I go then? And then I had to look up like a walkthrough. And one of the walkthrough suggestions is like in the first 30 minutes to like just run through this castle area. And there's a giant that just lands. And if it touches you, you die. So I'm like, wait a minute. So this is where I'm supposed to go? Okay. Why is this the right path? I'm confused. This is the right idea? And meanwhile, it's like 50 dudes. I'm not exaggerating. 50 dudes shooting arrows at you. I'm like, okay, wait. So I'm just supposed to muscle my way fucking through. I'm not supposed to fight anything in here. I'm just supposed to fucking go and pray.
The more you play From Software games, the more you realize the just run and run and run is the number one like thing to do.
Yeah, and man, those things take a while to give up. The Giant doesn't turn around, so at least there's that. But everybody else was like coming. And I'm like, this is dumb. So I just gave up. I just was like, this isn't worth my time. I didn't find it fun. Like if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to play it.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll try again someday when I have enough ayahuasca and I spent 5 years in 5 days or minutes in a dark room. Yes, the ayahuasca drug.
The ayahuasca drug. I used to be Aaron Rodgers.
I used to be Aaron Rodgers. So now I'm just like Diet Jared Leto.
Oh God, that's a little harsh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Hard.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I think you're wrong. Jared Leto's done some fucked up shit.
Yeah, but one of them still has talent.
Yeah, it's not
Jared
Aaron.
Leto. It's not Aaron.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto is a musician and an actor.
We need to watch Morbius, John.
I do not. I haven't and won't.
Is it draft day all over again?
I like 30 Seconds to Mars too much.
Are we going to go from Morbius to draft day now? Is that what we're doing?
Not watching Morbius. Absolutely not. Oh, yo, everybody destroy Ebtine on socials because Ebtine and I are not watching the draft in person together this year, and I'm furious.
I mean, you can come up here.
I'm considering it.
I have really have literal, like, mass.
We both do. We both have assignments. I don't like this. I'm unhappy with this development. Either way, thank God for Zoom and Discord.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get to some fat guys. And I say that colloquially. The point I want to raise ahead of time with this group. Last year was an historically great group of O-linemen. And I mean historically. It was by far, in my opinion, it was by far the second strongest position group of last year's draft behind wide receivers. And this year's O-line group is very different. Not in that it's not good. It's actually extremely good. I would argue it's deeper. Here's where there's a difference. Last year, I said that I viewed 3 offensive tackles as elite and 1 center as elite. This year, there is 1 true elite prospect. And his name is Peter Skoronski at Northwestern. I want to talk about him first because everybody else is just a completely different discussion.
The rest don't matter.
It's not that the rest don't matter. In fact, everybody I mentioned tonight, I expect them all to be gone by the end of day 2. I don't think a single one's going to be on the board after day 2.
Would you compare the Skoronski situation to Bijan Robinson in this class?
No, it's better.
Okay.
He's better. The difference is Peter Skoronski's going to have like a 12-year career and Bijan will be gone like 4 seasons from now.
All right, let's start this then. Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern is 6'4", 313 pounds.
Yep.
40 of 516. Yeah. Bench press of 30.
Yeah. There's a common statement being made with Peter Skoronski that I agree with. This man played a lot of tackle at Northwestern. And there's a lot of people that think he's a better tackle than Rashawn Slater. First of all, that is a fucking huge claim because Slater was a monster. Slater, at one point toward the end of draft coverage, was starting to get looks over Penny Sewell. And considering the trajectories of their career so far, absent Slater's injury, he has been the better player.
But if I remember correctly, wasn't Slater also a prospect they thought should probably switch to guard?
Yeah, I mean, the guy played all 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a theory that he could play guard. I think at that time, I liked him better at tackle. I can't say the same this time. Peter Skoronski is an NFL guard, and he will be a Pro Bowler within 5 minutes if they put him there. Straight up. 6'4", 315, and doesn't move poorly. He is a masher in the run game, and he's even better in the passing game. The guy hasn't given up a sack in forever. He is so balanced. He is so smart. He is so efficient with his hands. His bend is extremely strong. He doesn't overextend on blocks. Occasionally he'll receive, but he's never off balance when he receives. It almost feels like he's designing it as like like in baseball. You throw fastball, and then you throw a changeup, which is the same look, but it's 10 miles an hour slower. It's almost like Skoronski's doing that, where he's like, okay, you know I'm going to hit you, so now I'm not going to hit you, confuse the hell out of you, and throw you on your ass. He's so complicated to face. And yeah, Northwestern's Northwestern. He's not dealing with an SEC schedule. I get it. I don't care. I just don't care. The best O-lineman in this league right now, Quentin Nelson's Notre Dame. That was independent. Lane Johnson was Big 12. Zach Martin was also Notre Dame. By the way, commonly comped to Peter Skoronski. I mean, who else? Slater was Notre Dame. Sewell was Oregon. Pac-12. Who's the other best O-lineman in football right now? Creed Humphrey was Oklahoma. Although that's a center, it's a different skill set. I mean, is there anybody else that's that elite? My point is, I think Skoronski is going to be among these guys shortly. I do. I see the ceiling. I see it. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But last year, I remember saying, like, oh, if it's not Icky or Evan Neal, that becomes like the best O-lineman in this class. The other guy, I could see it being is Charles Cross. I think it's Skoronski, and I don't see a guy being better than him. I really don't. There's one I could kind of think could be better, but it's like, it's a very outside chance, like extremely outside. It's why I don't even have a true like top 5 ranking here. Gun to my head, I think I do, but not like top 5 offensive tackles, top 5 centers, top 5 guards. There's like 2 centers I don't hate. Like that's the way I'm at with centers this year. And that's how it kind of is with centers every year. There's always like 2 that I'm like, okay, they're really good. And then the others are like, fine, they're okay.
So what is Skoronski's biggest weakness then? Because he's not considered a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I disagree with those mocks. That's my point. Like, what's his biggest weakness? I mean, I've got a scouting report right in front of me. After watching the tape, I didn't see a whole lot of him. I'll be honest with you. I mean, this report, whose report? I don't even know whose report this is. I don't really care whose report this is. It doesn't matter whose it is. I just need to see the numbers. He's so balanced. He's so overall. Yeah, I mean, he's not the longest limbed guy. You know, like he's not going to keep you in front, I guess, with just his body. The length is something, I guess. You usually would see a longer guard, but like, who gives a shit? If you don't like him at guard, put him at tackle. There's a lot of dudes. There's a scout. It was on the NFL Combine page. There was an anonymous NFC scout that says he's a Pro Bowler at guard, but he's a much lesser option at tackle if a team chooses to put him there. I agree. I think he's a better guard. Doesn't mean he's a bad tackle. I think he'd be above average tackle, but he wouldn't be a perennial all-pro at tackle. At least I don't think so. I do think it's funny. This is NFL Draft Buzz. They comp him to Bernard Ryman. No. I watched Bernard Ryman constantly last year because he confused me. No, not at all. There's another player I comped to Bernard Ryman on this list, and we'll talk about him. And I like him much as I liked Bernard Ryman last year.
All right, let's talk about the person that's frequently compared to Skoronski.
Talk about the other tackle?
Yeah.
What about Paris?
Ohio State's Paris Johnson Jr. He's 6'6", 313 pounds.
Yep.
Did not run a 40.
Nope.
But he did have a bench press of 29 reps. Now, this one is considered purely a left tackle, right?
That's generally the sense I'm hearing. He switched to left tackle this past year. He played a little bit of, what was it? Was it right tackle? Right guard. He played some right guard a year ago. There's the ability to do more things here. But he's definitely better suited at left tackle. I watched a little bit of last year's tape when he was at right guard. He's better suited at left tackle. I'm not saying he can't do it in an emergency, but if you draft a left tackle, you're not thinking like, okay, well, if our right guard goes down, we can bump him over there. Fuck that. You're not doing that. So it's not really a valuable aspect. He's a leader. That's huge for me for an offensive lineman, especially a left tackle. Highly intelligent. He's 6'6" is scary to me because I understand people are thinking. I think people are thinking like, okay, it's an offensive lineman. We want to be very, very smart, very, very big, very, very tall. If you're too tall and your body hasn't filled out to that build, you're gonna kind of lose your balance. He does put his head down sometimes, I noticed. And with only the 1 year of playing tackle, I think he's the kind of player that would benefit from better coaching. If he ends up in here's my suspicion. It's hard for me to be impartial on this, but I can't be because we do have the best O-line coach in football. If you put Harris in Philly and gave him to Jeff Stoutland, he's going to be a much better player, all other personnel aside, than if he goes to who's got a shit O-line. Tennessee.
Is there anything that Paris does better than Skronsky? Because when you look at the mock drafts, these two are almost always like back to back.
He's a better vertical runner. He's a better vertical runner than Skronsky is, second level.
So do you think he's a better run defender, or
he's probably a better run blocker than a pass blocker, whereas Skronsky's definitely a better pass blocker than a run blocker. Skronsky's run block, but what?
I said run defender for some reason.
I know you did.
Like he's defending the runner.
I mean, that's what he's doing. Yeah. You know what? You know, would be a really good 1-2 for any team if they had like pick number 7 and number 15.
Mm-hmm.
Skronsky and Bijan. I'm kidding.
Oh, or like 7 and like, I don't know, a little bit later than that.
How much later?
Enough where you have to move up.
Yeah. Yeah. Paris is not a bad option. In fact, in a lot of drafts, I think he'd probably be O-lineman 1. Mm-hmm. Considering I view Skronsky in the guard vein, I think Paris Johnson is probably OT 1. If you're going to view Skronsky in the tackle vein, Paris is OT 2. I don't think he's better than him at all. But outside of the 1 year of tackle experience, which is a bit of a detriment, he did play Ohio State football, which is a different brand than Northwestern football. Granted, I did say the same shit about Penny Sewell versus Rashawn Slater. I used that as my tiebreaker, and I may or may not be incorrect. We don't know yet. They're still very young, but signs point to me being wrong on that, which is fine. I've been wrong before. But his ability to recognize blitzes, I would argue, is another thing that I think separates him from Skronsky. Because it's not like Skronsky can't. He can. But I've noticed that Paris, I think, picks it up way quicker. He really is highly intelligent. Like I don't know what the Wonderlic scores are this year. I feel like they're going to get rid of that at some point because it's kind of like. So
they're dropping it basically, but there's one for quarterbacks that like isn't really talked about. And it's out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the Wonderlic scores of these guys this year. I'm almost ready to do away with it because it's kind of just become a punchline. You know, like it's not even, what are you going to do? Oh man, he got a 45. Oh, fuck yeah. He's a genius. I have to take him 2 rounds earlier. Whereas it's not going to make you take him earlier, but if he gets a 6, you're going to take him way later. Like that's not, unless you're Boris Claiborne, which the Cowboys were still like top 10 pick. Top 10 pick. And there were red flags on that motherfucker coming out on the field. Like, it was just like, he absolutely lacks behind routes all the time. Why are you taking him? And they took him. And I was like, all right, can't wait to burn you. And then we did.
All right, let's move on to another player.
Let's do it.
Georgia's Broderick Jones.
Broderick Jones.
6'5", 311, 497, 40. No bench press.
No.
But did start 15 games for Georgia in 2022 as a left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And played a little bit of it in 2021, but he was also stuck behind Jamari Sawyer for the first 11 games of that season.
He was. Now, here's the funny thing about Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones is not done cooking at all. And it's why I'm confused by the inconsistency of him going in the first round versus the second. If you need an O lineman as a potential quote unquote heir to a left tackle, ideally, you should take him. I don't think he's gonna be as good day one, but there's a lot to work with here. He's insanely strong. He's already 6'5". I mean, already 6'5". He's not going to grow or shrink. What the fuck am I talking about? He's 6'5". He's going to be close to 315 at playing weight. He runs a sub 5. There's athleticism and then there's athleticism. When you're this big and that movable in the modern NFL, that provides value. Again, as you said, he was blocked position-wise for a little bit. That's fine.
That seems to happen a lot in Georgia recently.
Shit. They just won 2 national titles. No shit. It happens. Used to have it at Bama every goddamn year. You just have dudes coming out of the woodwork. It's like, where did he play? Bama. Why didn't we hear about him before? There were 6 5-star recruits above him. Like that's what happens. Brock Bowers could have been a 6-star recruit. We never would have heard of Ferguson. But anyway, or I guess this year Washington, but last year Ferguson. I mean, it's a joke. It's a stupid fucking program. But anyway.
So
Broderick, my point is Broderick's a sophomore coming out. He's not a junior. So he's a year behind in development, which is a good thing. He's a year short. Build him. If you start him day one, I think it's a mistake. I wouldn't start him day one because while he could be very good day one, he could be great if you let him cook a little bit.
So if you're advocating basically spending a first round pick on a guy you don't want him to play at all the first year, I can see why people don't want to take him in the first
I understand
round.
that. Not don't need to play him first year. Let's say don't need. If you need to play him first year, if you absolutely must do it, I think you've got yourself a hell of a tackle. But I'm saying if you can hold off on starting him for like 8 weeks, like give him a full summer and get out of the summer 8 weeks. He was a 2-sport athlete. He was a basketball player, for fuck's sake, playing O-line. It's a common trend. We're seeing a lot of these O-linemen this year, and that's not the first time I'm going to say basketball with one of these guys. He's a hyper athlete. With pads on, it almost looks like he runs faster than a 5. His vertical is better than the other 2 guys. Not vertical jump, vertical running. His vertical, his field presence, his vertical field aggression is higher. He gave up 1 QB hit all season, no sacks, obviously because Stetson Bennett is omnipotent. But
by the way, draft Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, draft Stetson Bennett. Do not draft Max Duggan. If you need to draft a lowly quarterback prospect in the late rounds, take Stetson Bennett, not Max Duggan.
Anyways, so is this a Charles Cross situation where you could see Broderick Jones overtake Skoronski and Paris Johnson?
Paris, yes. Skoronski is so tough for me to say anyone's going to overtake him. So tough. But I definitely see this is like my third dude, so to speak. Like this is he's not getting the looks the other 2 are getting, but he damn well should be. He's extremely talented. I'm very impressed. You know, he has the potential to be dominant at the next level. And I don't say that often. I could see him being more dominant if he ascends to his ceiling than Skoronski. In fact, I will say this. I think Jones's ceiling is higher than Skoronski's. But I think the likelihood he hits it is not really reasonable to expect because it's a climb. Coming out as a sophomore, you know what's funny? I wish this guy had stayed one more year, and I forget his name, but that kid at Penn State had come out.
So win another title. And then
Yeah. Yeah. I need one more title out of you before I can think you're ready. Yeah. No,
of these three, because right tackle is becoming such an important position in the NFL. Of these three, are there any that you would start at right tackle? Because I've noticed draft coverage is falling behind the NFL here. Right tackle is extremely important.
It's vital.
Yeah.
It's actually weirdly more important than left now. Not because left is losing value. It's actually all the O-line is gaining value. Right tackle is valuable now because defensive ends got fucking privy to the idea that the better tackle's usually on the left, so they moved over to the fucking right.
Yep.
Probably Paris. I know people view him as a pure left, and I get it. I can't ignore the fact that he played right guard. I can't ignore that. Like, he played a season at right guard. That's valuable. Now, I could also say the easy answer of Skoronski and say the guy can play 4 positions because he can. But again, he's an NFL guard. I kind of want the Eagles to take him at 10. I'm not even like pretending I don't want that. Right guard, immediate. Like, put him at right guard, make Cam Jurgens wait one more fucking year till Kelsey decides he's had enough, and put him at center. And once again, we maintain the dominance. We ascend into heaven. It's all about the big dogs. You think the reason the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl was the quarterback? Are you crazy?
That's why they're not going to pay him.
They're going to pay him. They're going to pay him lots of money. Anything below 50 a year, I'm happy. Anything above 50 a year, I get it. But if it's below, I'm going to be thrilled. Anything at like 48 is like, that's where I'm like, okay, cool, we're good. Anything at like 52, I'm like, fine. But it's like a difference of like 20 million total. Like, I don't even know why it matters to me. Like, who gives a shit? In 5 years, 48 million a year or 52 a year. Oh no, that extra 20 million is really going to sink us. Fuck you. Ask the Saints if that's sinking them.
Oh god damn it.
I can't go an episode without it at this point. It's like it's my ayahuasca.
All right, let's move on.
Let's do it.
Guard. Because I don't know, I think we're doing pairs now.
That's fine.
Osiris Torrance from Florida.
First of all, bitchin' fucking name.
6'5".
Osiris Torrance.
So tell me why this guard.
You didn't say his measurements. I know you did, but I interrupted you.
6'5", 330. Tell me why Osiris Torrance is your number one guard. He's not.
Well, he isn't, but he's not. But the thing with Osiris Torrance is, did I lose my notes just now? I totally just lost my document. Where'd it go? There you are, you rascal. Osiris Torrance is not really my number one guard because I view Mr. Skoronski as a guard. However,
in a world
where Peter Skoronski is actually a tackle.
Why?
Why did you do that? Osiris Torrance is a big man. Really big man. 23 years old, which I don't love, to be honest with you.
I gotta be quite honest with you. Age matters nothing to me when you talk about O-linemen.
It matters to me.
It's the one position where I'm like, oh no, their career is going to be 1 year less.
The Eagles drafted a 26-year-old guard 1 year in the first round.
Okay, that's different from a 23-year-old.
And he stunk ass.
That's different from a 20.
Looking at you, Danny Watkins, that was a mistake. Anyway, Osiris, my apologies, Osiris Torrance. The word NFL Draft Buds uses to describe him is the same word I'm going to use to describe him.
Okay.
Ridiculous. The unmitigated power that he brings to an NFL O-line. Do you have his bench stats? Did he do the bench?
Yeah, so I was about to bring that up, actually. His bench press is only 23.
He had a bad day. That man could put up 35.
Because we got Skorinsky at 30, Paris Johnson at 29.
This is the best run blocker in the draft. No doubt. This is the best run blocker in the draft. He is a monster in the running game. Needs to get better at passing. Needs to get way better at the passing game. A pure run blocker is not ideal for the NFL game. Are you looking at his combine measurements right now?
Yeah.
By any chance? What was his weight at the combine?
330.
It was 330 at the combine?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Because you know what it was during the season?
340.
Close to 350.
Oh.
At 6'5". This man is a machine. He's played 3,000 snaps in the collegiate game. He can move, which is bizarre at that side. I don't get the 5'3" again. He plays faster. This is a guy that is way better on the field than he is at practice. Like, way better. Because the combine, I don't even think was a good day. I think he had a bad day. He adjusts to the next level incredibly well. A speed rusher can give him trouble. You know who he's not going to do well against? Aaron Donald. You know who no one does well against? Aaron Donald. Are there any tackles in the NFL right now that are speed tackles? And I mean any. There's none. There's none in the NFL right now. You know he would probably do poorly against if he were testing well? Jalen Carter. He wouldn't do well there. He wouldn't. And I mean, not in a vacuum. I mean, over a 10-game stretch against Jalen Carter.
Remember that name, because that name will be high on the list later on.
When we talk about DTs later, we'll have a different conversation about Jalen Carter. And if Tina and I will have a disagreement, probably. Yeah. We'll have a conversation. This is a guard. This is a guard's guard. This is the player you want to put on your probably the left side of your O-line at guard. He has played on both sides. People view him as a right side guy, but he was so elite when he was on the left side. When I say elite, when talking about a freshman, that means he had something, damn it. I mean, there's just, and for fuck's sake, he made Dameon Pierce a draftable running back at Florida.
All right, let's do a little compare and contrast. Okay,
go ahead.
Let's talk about a guy who had 38 bench press.
Okay.
USC's Andrew Voorhees.
He's 24. Not interested.
I know. We got two.
Too old.
We got a super senior and a senior here. Both are going to play guard.
Yeah. So Voorhees is a 6th-year senior.
Yeah. Super senior.
Yeah. And I think part of it was the COVID thing. But give me Voorhees measurements, please.
All right. And they're both, by the way, before we go into it, they're both considered run blocking first. That's why I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm doing this comparing.
Absolutely.
6'6", 310 pounds.
Okay. What do you run?
Not listed.
Okay. So his unofficial, I believe this is a pro day number because I do have a 40 number for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might just be an estimate because I don't know if it's a true pro day number.
There's a star next to it. It's an estimate.
Yeah. So I've got an estimate of a 512. That's what I've got the estimate at. That did not show for me in his game tape. I'll be honest with you. That did not show for me. Now he's going to be 24. He's still going to be 24 when the season begins. Again, I know Epstein doesn't value that as much. The two of them are really barely a year apart. It's not like we're not splitting a whole lot of hairs there. I don't love Andrew Voorhees, but I do like him. The beauty of this, and here's the funny thing, is the beauty of this whole class is I don't dislike anybody I'm going to talk about tonight except for one guy. And when I figured out that one guy is changing positions, I liked him again. Because the position he was playing, I hated him.
I think it's important to say, because here's why he doesn't have a 40. He tore his ACL at the combine.
I did not know that. I will admit that. I did not know that. I did not know that. For Andrew Voorhees,
and
that's a shame. That's day 3. Because I had him. I had him as a late 2, mid 3. That's a shame. Day 3. What a bummer.
Not only that, Voorhees has a history with injury.
I did know that.
An ankle injury
Yep.
caused him to redshirt his sophomore year.
This is why the 6th-year thing happened. What with COVID and the injuries, he kept kind of accumulating eligibility years.
And he's played both left and right guard.
He has, which again, as has Osiris. This is not comparable, I don't think. He's versatile. And Voorhees, to my recollection, I have this in my individual notes, he actually played all 4 positions other than center. He's done all 4.
But had 6 years.
Right. He's not going to play tackle in the NFL. I don't see that happening for him. He's, with the injuries that come, I mean, what did he do last year? He allowed 12 QB hurries, 1 QB hit, 2 sacks last year at guard, seeing action in 11 games, 720 snaps. Listen, the guy got progressively better. He was AP All-America first team this past year. That's a major honor. But he's not my I prefer Osiris. I really do, because Osiris has the unteachables and he plays faster than the numbers show. Do we have bench press on Voorhees?
Yeah, it was 38.
That's extraordinary. I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's not. That's extraordinarily high. It's 15 over Osiris. But I'm just not, again, I don't care that much about the combine numbers. I use them just as a measurement. Mm-hmm. Listen, if I cared that much, Orlando Brown would be a Pro Bowler. But sure enough, although he's on his 3rd team, what a weird player.
All right, let's wrap up the guards. Let's talk about a TCU kid.
Yeah.
I'm starting to really hate TCU.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of TCU.
Yeah. Let's talk about TCU kid.
Go ahead.
Avila? I'm assuming that's
I think it's either Avila or Avila. I forget how to pronounce it. I apologize.
See. It is Avila.
Avila.
Yeah. Anyways, 6'3.5", 332 pounds, a 28 on the bench press, a 5'21" 40.
Yep.
I mean, this guy did all the drills. Our last guard. Let's compare, because you have Voorhees. It seems to me it's very clear that Osiris is your number 1 guard, assuming Skoronski isn't a guard.
If Skoronski is not a guard, Osiris is the best guard.
So let's compare Andrew Voorhees and Steve Avila.
So Steve Avila is interesting, because the problem with Steve Avila is a center. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, thank God he's changing to guard. Thank God. Because if he was staying at center, I had him as a 5th. I didn't like him at center at all. And I will tell you why. I do not believe in big centers. I said it. I don't believe in big centers. If you are 6'4", okay. There's no center in the NFL right now under 6'2". The 6'2" is the low. So we got 6'3s and above, league wide at center. Okay, Avila's 6'4". I'm good there. 335 is the heaviest center, and Steve Avila would be tied for the heaviest center in the NFL at his current weight. Okay, no, like I'm not. That means you're not a center to me. To me, that means you're not a center. He got a Senior Bowl invite. His estimate of 5'21". I don't know if that was officially at the combine. Maybe it was. Okay, good. He doesn't pop off the page for me as a run blocker. In fact, I think he needs a lot of work there. But again, that's why I like him better at guard. I think at center, he was stuck in the shuffle a lot. I see the ability to grow, but like with some of the other guys I've mentioned, he does kind of need a scheme fit, and he needs the right coaching. Good prospect. He could play center at a pinch, but I wouldn't do it. He's got average lateral skills, which is why I think I hated him at center. So you asked me to compare him to Voorhees.
Yeah.
Dave
Because
Voorhees.
these are two. Well, I mean, before the ACL injury for Voorhees.
Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, that's literally right before you said that I had a change of heart. The Voorhees knee injury changes things because it means that the interior O line, we haven't talked about centers yet, but it means the interior, like the guards in this draft, are tricky. And it means Osiris must be a top 25 pick. Must be. Has to be. And good, because he should be anyway on his own merits. But because of the emptiness of the position, he definitely has to be. The rest of the way through it, just Avila is, I don't want to use this term because I promised we wouldn't. He screams mid to me. Mid. Like I'm just not, he does not spark joy. You know, he does not spark joy. I don't love senior prospects anyway. He's coming in as a senior, but between him and Voorhees, Voorhees is 35 years old, but there's a chance if you can get him healthy that he can be a violent physical beast. Take a gamble. Avila's probably going to go above him now because of that injury, which I get. I can't argue that.
All right, let's go back to tackle.
Yep.
Because we got 4 more tackles to rattle off.
Let's do them quickly.
Let's talk about the man missing 2 teeth out of North Dakota State, 6'5", 302 pounds, Cody March.
I love this man. This is a prospect.
This man looks like Carson Wentz had a cousin who got punched in the face.
Well, they both went to North Dakota State, so it's very possible.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of the game of Cody Mosh. Big fan. The story of Cody Mosh is somehow even more impressive. Cody Mosh is a walk-on in North Dakota State. He was a tight end walk-on weighing 220 pounds, and he's worked his way up to
302.
302. That's insanity in and of itself that Cody Mosh has found his way up there. He runs a 5.08, so he's uber athletic for that skill set. This is a 24-year-old that I don't hate.
29 bench press.
29 on the bench, a violent run blocker, but a very highly rated pass blocker as well. You would be foolish to wait until the 3rd and think he's going to be there because he won't.
So you love this guy so much.
I do.
Not a first-round pick.
Because you can get him in the 2nd. I don't think, and again, it's going to come down to the coaching. I see a project here. And what I've seen enough of is I'm so high on those. It's like with Raymond last year. It was like with Lane Johnson 12 years ago. I am very attracted to the idea of selecting former tight ends. Not only that, this guy played quarterback in high school and defensive end. He's an athlete that has a ton of instincts. He is elite at the speed level. I absolutely see an opportunity for him to catch a pass or two at some point. Like, it's definitely there. Super productive at left tackle, so I think he's going to translate better to left than right. The only problem I have with him is he is a little skinny for the position still, and the fact that he's gained 80 pounds already means it's going to be really hard to gain those last, 15, because he made a big climb weight-wise. I don't like him in the 3rd round because I think if you wait that long, you're stupid. If he's in the 3rd, you don't take him. I don't care who you picked. F. I don't care who your selection was. Bijan can get there. F.
All right, let's compare this guy.
And I would say the only other thing about him is of all the prospects we've discussed so far, he's the only guy who I've seen occasionally get stuck in the weeds and lose himself when left in a one-on-one island situation. You don't see that happen to guards very often. So Cyrus and Voorhees and Avila, you didn't see it happen with them very much. Skoronski dominates island situations. Paris dominates island situations. There's another tackle we're going to mention here that I don't think I've seen him lose a matchup 1-to-1, but that's purely on size. And for those that are listening, if you know anything about the O-line class, you should already know who I'm talking about because there's one size outlier in this class.
So let's talk about Blake Freeland out of BYU.
Yeah, it's not him. He's not the outlier.
Well, he's 6'8", 302 pounds.
Different outlier.
Yeah.
I put in the notes, all caps, project. It's all he is. It's all he is. I've seen some mocks where we have him in the 2, 3. I've seen one. I think I saw one in the 5. First of all, no, he won't be in there in the 5th. He won't be there for that. But if you can get him in day 2, late, why not? Take a flyer. You don't start him. Day 1, don't start him. Don't, because you're not going to be happy with the result. At 6'8" at tackle, I would like a heavier player. 302 is the same weight as Cody Mosh, and we just said that he's going to struggle to gain the weight. Blake Freeland is tricky, and I don't love BYU prospects as a baseline, except for Tyler Algier. He's probably the bottom-ish of my list of who we're discussing tonight because he's so, yes, he's very tall, very interesting to have a player at 6'8". But I don't know enough about the background back at high school. Like I knew more about Mosh going into this study. Like I knew about Mosh months ago. And I knew when we did this episode, I'm like, I like wrote it on a sticky note, Cody Mosh, no matter what. Like I had to discuss this man. But Blake Freeland, I just don't have the same affinity for.
Freeland did play at right tackle.
Okay.
Before left tackle this year.
Does it make him 20 pounds heavier?
No idea.
It doesn't. The answer is no.
Okay.
He's 6'8", 300. You need 20 more pounds at 6'8". You have to have it. It's insane to me. You're going to break your legs.
Let's move on to the bottom. Let's talk about Darnell Wright out of Tennessee.
Interesting prospect, Darnell Wright.
6'5", 333 pounds. Also a senior. I think they're almost all seniors.
I wish Darnell Wright, yeah, but he's only like 22.
Yeah.
I wish Darnell Wright would change weights with Freeland. Honestly. And nothing else. Just weights.
This is a guy, though, that has played right and left tackle, but ended at right tackle.
He did. Now, there's one thing I noticed when watching Darnell Wright. And it's odd that he was playing for Tennessee with this. He does not grade out well as a run blocker, and I get it because his hands are sticky and not the good kind. They're almost like heavy. Like they're not jabbing, they're pushing, which is not what you want. You don't want pushing. You want jabbing. You want force. You want aggression. I'm not seeing much with it. This is more of an athlete than a mauler. He's not going to – who was it a few years ago? I forget who it was. But there was somebody I thought lacked aggression. And
I remember there was a guy we were watching. I'm like, damn, this guy does not care.
You know who it was, actually? I'm remembering now.
Is it Cross?
No, it was Darisaw.
Oh, yeah.
It was Christian Darisaw, and damn, were we wrong because he's sick. But what's funny is that I still occasionally will see him take a play off. And I don't see Wright take plays off. I almost think he's getting tired. And I hope that's not the case. He's a little bit too high to be strong in the run game, and that's why he's not being strong. That's the funny thing for me is I have this very interesting brain for this now because I get to watch Jordan Mailata every week. It's 6'8", 350, crush people. And I understand that's just it's a different issue altogether. But this guy measures in the same way. He's just not quite as tall. He played what? Right tackle this year. He was
Yeah.
left tackle year before, right tackle the year before that. He played 3 years at right, 1 year at left. All right. That means he's good. That means he can do both. That's important. That's value. Second round pick. Right there. On that alone, second round pick.
All right, let's talk about our last tackle. Oklahoma, Anton Harrison.
That is not the last tackle.
It is on this list.
I know it is not.
6'4", 315 pounds.
Is that really did I forget somebody? I totally did. I did not put somebody on your list. I have to put him on there.
Oh, there's a mushroom guy. I forgot that.
No, not him.
Okay.
No. This is a different beast. This is somebody we need to discuss because if we don't, we're idiots. I'm going to write down some numbers, though. If Team's going to see this in real time, I don't even know if he knows about this, but I'm going to write it down. Do you know this name? Oh, wait, that's not even the right thing. Guys, you guys have it so good, you listeners, because you guys get to witness the stupidity in action sometimes. Does that name invoke anything in you? No? Do you not know that name? It's at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who that is?
I think I do, yeah.
All right. Go find his combine numbers real quick while I type them in.
That man is massive. Anyways, Anton Harrison.
Yeah, so Anton Harrison, we're going to talk about how massive this monster is in a minute. But Anton Harrison, I think it's Antone. Is it Anton or Anton? Anton Harrison. I am a sucker for an Oklahoma offensive lineman. I'm a sucker for Oklahoma players, to be
Why are you a
sucker
sucker for Oklahoma offensive linemen?
I just like Oklahoma players. I think they have a great program. As long as you don't play defense for them, I like you. Anton Harrison's an interesting prospect. And another guy I fully expect to go in the first round. Fully. Okay. Because here you have a pass blocker that needs to learn how to run block. Now, I would rather the other way around. I would rather a run blocker that needs to learn how to pass block. That's not what you have here. He benched out at 24 at his pro day. Not high. 6'4", 315. You'd expect to see something a little bit better than that. He's got a 40-yard dash sub 5. Check. He's got experience at left tackle, pretty much only. But this year was probably his best season. 8 hurries only, allowed no hits with 1 sack. Now, I know those are technically different stats. In my world, if you sack a guy, you hit a guy. So that should say 1 hit. But I know they're counted differently. He's got great size. He's got great length. He's very good in pass pro with aggressive hands. He just needs to figure out how to deal with a straight ahead run. He doesn't know how to do it. It's not so much that he can't. It's clear that he doesn't know how. Oklahoma doesn't run the ball that well right now. In fact, Oklahoma had a weird year. If you watched Oklahoma football this year, man, he's just like bleh. Like the whole offense was bleh this year. You lost Lincoln Riley. You lost Caleb Williams. No shit it was going to take a step back. And you used to have Spencer Rattler. Remember him?
I mean, he actually might become important. Isn't it crazy?
A year from now.
Yeah, the roller coaster that Stephen Rattler has been so far.
Spencer Rattler has been a lot of fun. The other problem I have with Anton Harrison, and it's the one thing I saw on him that was a consistent knock the whole time, occasionally he stands straight up. And you can't do that. You just can't fucking do that. You have to stay down. Anton Harrison strikes me as a dude you could take in the first round that you could, like 3 years from now, be really pissed off you did it. Because, and if you take him in the second, you might be like, all right, fine. Anton has those bad habits that are hard to break, and that's not what you want. But if you get the right coaching staff, again, this is so much reliance on coaching in the O-line. You need great personnel to coach some of the bad habits out of his brain. They'll do it. I'm confident an NFL coach knows how to do that.
All right, let's talk about one more guy before we get to the headliner, okay? Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse.
Bergeron, yeah.
6'5", 318 pounds.
Yeah, I'm less interested in this player, to be honest with you. Important to discuss, just
I mean, he
briefly,
also might
though.
move to guard.
I've heard that. I don't know if that fixes the issues. He's fine. He hasn't lifted. He's got good vert. He's got good three cone. He's 6'5". He's 320. 5.3. He's an okay pass blocker. Pretty good, in fact. Bergeron strikes me as a player in the third round that you're like, you get him and you're like, this is an interesting pick. In the second round, you're thinking like, did I reach? Like he almost feels like a tweener. Like he's late 2, mid 3. But like I would really like him at mid 3.
Okay.
And then at late 2, I'm just like, really? Really? Why didn't I just take Cody Mosh? Like, and I'm not just saying that because of me. I'm saying that like, why didn't I pick like 12 picks earlier or 15 picks earlier and get Mosh, or if he slips, Darnell Wright? Like, this is not, you're not gonna be upset. You're not gonna be enthused in your room. You're gonna be like, I took him because I needed a damn offensive lineman, and we're gonna see what we've got.
All right. Let's get the wrestling announcement out and ready for you.
Go for it.
6'8", 374 pounds, from Indianapolis, played in Ohio State, DeJuan Jones.
Worst wrestling announcement ever. DeJuan Jones.
I don't watch wrestling.
Nobody does anymore. DeJuan Jones is
ginormous.
I don't know if you've ever watched Game of Thrones, audience. I've watched enough of it. If teams watched all of it.
Is he the mountain?
He is the mountain. He is the mountain.
Dead or alive?
He's the dead one. He's the undead one. Yeah.
By the way, if that's a spoiler for you, I'm sorry. It's too late to
It's
care.
been many years. He's the undead version.
Yeah.
He is an absolute monster. And here is what I love about a player of that size. And this is something I'm sure you read. Just read those numbers.
Do you want me to read his player comp? Because it pisses me off.
Go ahead.
His player comp is Trent Brown.
Well, it's because he's massive.
Yeah.
DeJuan Jones is a little different, though.
I mean, we got a right tackle, no matter what.
Definitely.
I love that.
Yep. Played some left, though. He's also got some left. Freshman and sophomore, he was left.
Okay, but he's 6'8", 370.
Junior and senior played right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's Jordan Mailata's size. He plays left. Continue.
Okay. 5'35".
Mailata runs a lot better. I'm just kidding.
5'35", 40, which honestly at 6'8", 374 is good. 192, 10-yard split. Do you have a bench press?
I don't.
Okay.
It's a shame. You should do one.
You really should. Yeah.
Gotta give him a skyscraper to bench press, though. 225 is not enough. Here's my thing with DeJuan. The oversized tackle very rarely works out. I understand that. But damn it, it's fun. For like 2 years, you're just like, this guy's going to be awesome. This is definitely a flyer you throw a second-round pick at and think, son of a bitch, I'm ready. Because if you can unlock what's under the surface, you've turned a player into a world beater. Like, you drafted Thanos. Like, this is not I really want more 6'8" monsters to end up playing. I want these big dogs to end up becoming the norm. Consider, by the way, the difference. DeJuan Jones and Blake Freeland are the same height.
Yeah.
They are 70 pounds in difference. They're 70 pounds apart. They're 72 pounds apart. If that doesn't tell you how much weight Blake Freeland needs to gain and how much DeJuan Jones potentially should maybe lose, I don't know what else tells you that. That's a monster over there. A monster. 5'3", He's slow. You would be too.
6'8", 374.
You would be slow too. But
I don't really consider that slow at 6'8", 374.
No, it's a train. Let me explain something. This is not a slow player. He's a slow tester. But the guy played fucking basketball. This guy. I don't know how much weight he gained. Here's a guy That's a big man. That is a big man.
All right, let's talk about centers. John Michael Schmitz, Minnesota,
Yep.
6'3.5", 301 pounds.
I'll be honest with you guys. It's not the year to need a center.
Okay.
It's not the year.
How about this? How about I just talk about all of them then?
And by the way, John Michael Schmitz also runs a 5.35, and he is 80 pounds lighter than DeWan.
There's also Ohio State's Luke Whippler or Weipler.
I was hearing it pronounced Weipler.
Luke Weipler, 6'3", 303 pounds, and Joe Tipman, the mullet man, at 6'6", 313. Which of these three are your favorite?
I don't know. Here's my problem is
that was the show. Thank you very much.
Yeah, on a normal day, my favorite would be Tippmann. There's just one problem with Tippmann is that he's 6'6". You can't be a center at 6'6". It's just you can't. I don't. The best centers of this league are 6'3" and 6'4". 6'6" is too damn big. I keep asking the question: is this guy going to switch to tackle? Because he probably should. That's a tackle. He runs well. 6'6", 315 at a sub-5. That's a tackle. That's a high IQ tackle. I wish I had more info on him as a tackle, but I don't. And I'm mad about it. I'm physically ill over it. I don't like this.
The mullet man.
Now, Schmitz appears to be more of the consensus center option. So I'm willing to say that I think John Michael Schmitz is the one I would take if I needed a center. He seems to be a consistent top 50 prospect on most boards. I could see him as a mid-second round pick, whereas I don't really know if any of the other centers are going to go in the first 2 rounds. But again, he's 24. He's not the best pass blocker. He's fine. He's not bad by any means. Very good in the run game. Very good. But he's a center through and through. And I mean through and through, which is fine. AP first team All-American. He was all Big Ten first and second back-to-back years. Academic all Big Ten for 5 seasons, which is huge for a center. That matters for a center. But power rushers are going to give him trouble. And I don't know if that's going to last long, but he's so good in the running game, I wish part of it was translated to pass. As I said before, it's easier to become a better pass blocker than a run blocker. So good. You're really good at the harder one. Good.
So those are all the offensive linemen.
Yep.
Next week, we do DBs, safeties, and corners. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, to give you an idea, Daniel Jeremiah sent a tweet out this week that said it is not the year to need a safety.
And with that...
So make sure to listen to us for corners, because it is a good corner draft.
And with that, we'll see you next time.
I feel like it didn't sell us, but like if you're listening to us, you probably read DJ's tweets. It's not like it's news to you. Ryan Branch is pretty good.
Goodbye.
See you next time.